Okay, testing. I think it's working now. Now it's not like boomer. It's just that the microphone is kind of old. I should actually try to buy a new one, but I'm putting most of my funds in the video game, so yeah. You know what is the most fun part that I'm doing recently? There's still no sound. Still no sound. I think there may be sound. Funds in the video game, so there is sound. You can't troll me. I'm used to these things. I'm an experienced streamer. It's not like it's a poor man's microphone. It's a Yeti, but it's old. I think it actually went way past its warranty, so I should get a new one. But anyway, right, so as I was saying, like one of the most fun parts of my job, which is pretty much to read the news and then tell you guys about it, is that you sometimes get to read old articles. Do you guys remember about the patriarchy? The cisgender, heteronormative, patriarchal society, rape apology, rape culture. Hey, can you believe that there was a point where people actually took these concepts seriously? And not only that, you could lose your job. Like, you would have, I mean, the mental insanity was at this point, like, this was right before Hillary was campaigning for presidency. And the mental insanity was at this level that if you disagreed with a woman, like literally, just like, if a woman said that you need to give me your money, and you said no, so you disagreed with her, you are a misogynistic pig. And if you are a misogynistic pig, you deserve to get fired, you deserve to be silenced, no one should listen to you, everyone should distance them. Kind of like you are a Nazi. Do you guys remember that? Like, when did that happen? It happened 2016. Like, how long ago is that? It's less than 10 years. 7 years? Yeah, kind of 7 years, right? Like, 7 years ago, it was like the culture that the experts and all the people that are more prestigious than us agreed, like a consensus. The experts reached a consensus that if you disagree with a woman, you're a misogynistic pig. Like, again, it's just like any type of disagreement. Like, she could be the most unreasonable person in the room. She could have been saying like the most fringe, crazy, far-out conspiracy theories. You have to believe her. Because otherwise you are a misogynistic pig. Hello, Tetriam. I love the archer. Tetriam is a pixel art. He draws pixel. That's good stuff. Disagreeing with a woman is the morally correct thing to do. No, I don't agree with that either. I do not swing the pendulum the other way either. Sometimes women are right, sometimes women are wrong. It really depends. But to go to a level of the culture where it's like, well, if a woman says it, therefore it must be true, then all I have to do is to hire a woman and then just parrot the stuff that I want her to parrot. Which is what a lot of corporations did, by the way. Like, it was quite funny because the spokesperson of most companies during that time happened to be women. Like, up until that point, like, there were companies that hired men as spokespeople, there were companies that hired women, but all of a sudden, when that culture hits, everyone was hiring women. It's like, what are you going to do? Are you going to be a misogynistic pig and disagree with our company? We are Raytheon Defense, motherfucker. You gotta... Paul Damok, thank you for the one Romanian live TV membership. Doesn't apply to right women. Of course it doesn't. Well, Sarah Palin. Sarah Palin, like, it was fine if you made fun of her and say that she could see her house, she could see Russia from her house. Which, by the way, apparently it's not a quote that she said. It's interesting, like, Sarah Palin said a lot of crazy stuff, but apparently, like, that wasn't one of them. So yeah, it is fascinating, isn't it? Like some women definitely you had to listen to, but like others not so much. And they stopped, I think, like when a lot of journalists, a lot of activists and CEOs got deplatformed because they were being Me Too'd. So, but then you had like the other moral panic. It was with fascismus. Do you guys remember that? Like, fascismus. Oh, bash the fash. Oh, Donald Trump is a fascist. I remember like when Donald Trump was president, we didn't have world conflicts. It was one of the best times of economic prosperity from my life. Again, I'm not saying that Donald Trump did the economy right, but at least he didn't make it worse, did he? I mean, I don't know a single person that goes like, oh my god, like during the Trump era, oh, I was like my business all of a sudden because of the government. Like it was good, it was good. But yeah, like a lot of fascismus. Oh, bash the fash. And again, it's so interesting when you look back to that particular time, and you wonder like, how did people believe that shit? Like here's something that isn't talked about in the media, but I remember happening. You can Google it because it's probably still on the internet. It was called the White House siege. Now, many of you have heard about January 6th, right? But the White House siege was something that was organized on most mainstream media platforms like Facebook and I don't know if YouTube, but like Twitch, Twitter. And they literally, it was called the White House siege, right? So like they made a huge protest at the White House. I think like they even burned the historic church. And Donald Trump was escorted by the Secret Service to the bunker. Do you guys remember that? And the media made fun of that aspect, right? It wasn't, oh my god, the insurrection. No, it's like the White House siege. And that's what they call it. You can look it up. Khmer Rouge will prevail. Oh, well, it's kind of funny. Like, I actually do have an account where, it's on Twitter. And there's people like, oh my god, it's so sinful, so disgusting. And I'm literally, it's not for you. Like, I don't care what you have to say. Because I was saying someone, like, I was showing an artwork of my Sakubasu. And he's like, well, this is not art. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like, what the AI says it's art. Look. The AI said it's art, so therefore. Bunker baby, yeah. I mean, it's interesting. People have such short-term memory, I swear to God. Either that or they like to selectively remember things, like certain individuals just don't want to... I mean, they want to pretend that certain events didn't happen in order to strengthen their arguments. Escalating the tensions, political frivolous. Some people... Alright, I just, like a lot of people ask me about the whole Israel and Palestine thing. And the interesting aspect of it that I see a lot of leftists that are afraid, like they want to take a side, but they're afraid. They have to take a side, right? Because it's their way of life. Like, if you don't virtue signal, do you really exist? Like, how can you get, back in the day, in order to get a job, you would have to, like, go to various symposiums, finish a university, show that you're training, right? And all of those things would, like, be added to your resume. It's like, okay, so you finished this university. All right. You went to this symposium that has to do with what you're trying to practice. Okay. You volunteered and you did the job. All right. So you could add these on your resume. Now it's like what you said on Twitter. All right, so like in the conflict of Ukraine, you sided with Ukraine. That's good. Then you sided with the Democrat. That's great. Let's see about Israel and how did you fare? And this is really confusing for a lot of left-leaning people. They generally like do not know what to pick, and they can't just say it's like in this case of the like I don't care. Like, I'm in America, this is happening elsewhere in the other parts of the world, I'm sorry about it, but, like, what do you want me to do? They literally can't say that. And unironically, like, that's kind of my position as well. It's like, dude, it's another country, it's a continent away, like, I have issues to worry about here. I got Ukraine literally next to the border, like, that is more concerning for me right now. Like, what do you want me to do about this situation? There's nothing I can do, right? But no, they can't say that, so they want to take a side. And a lot of them have took the side of the terrorists. Like, not Palestine, no, like the terrorists, they actually sided. And they wrote a letter at Harvard. Like, that's in the news, this actually happened. They wrote a letter at Harvard. And now there's a truck which shows their faces on it, and they call it doxing. And I'm thinking, like, how on earth can it be doxing? Like, you wrote a public letter wanting your name and your face to be associated with your statement. So now that a truck is going around showing your name, like you literally asked for this. Like this is what you wanted. Oh, you wanted the standing ovation, but now it seems it may actually cost your job. Oh, I see. So we're no longer with the idea of what do they say? Speech causes consequences, right? That is no longer the consequence truck. Not the truck of consequences. Now it's the truck of doxing. Oh, I see. So when right-wingers are facing it, it's consequences. When you're facing it, it's doxing. Ah, all right. And it's not like they're posting their bank accounts or social security number or anything. It's just their face, right? With their statement. How many people back in Trump era were screaming about Nazism are now going to show what they're chanting at the Palestinian protests? Yeah, like I heard a lot of anti-Semitic stuff at the Palestinian protests. But you know, I said this on my my main video as well. What do they teach students at universities? No, unironically, like what do they teach at the humanities universities? Well, let's see. They teach students that white privilege is horrible, capitalism is evil, you need to deconstruct colonialism, and now you're Pikachu face when the students aren't siding with Israel. It's like, I'm sorry, but Israel, like, look at Benjamin Netanyahu. He's white. Like, even though you may say, well, actually, it doesn't matter. Like, the students are going to eyeball that, and they're going to say, okay, they're white. They're a capitalist nation. They're not a theocracy, right? They're a capitalist nation. Well, I guess like colonialism. Like, they fit the Harvard definition. So don't get Pikachu face when you're like indoctrinating students in order to think these things, and then like, because it's funny because a lot of university professors are with Israel. They're like, why are these students acting like this? Like we were just teaching them in order to try to deconstruct the United States, not to, you know, it's interesting. It is very interesting. It's not even art school. It's like most humanities. Like, they even have like colonial studies. And again, like the interesting thing is like when you saw the atrocities that were committed on Twitter, like they were horrifying, right? But you have like left-leaning activists saying, well, what do you think decolonialism means? Do you think that they would write papers and hold speeches? And I was like, well, at least I would think that they're not hurting the innocents, like women and children, and parading their corpses on the street. At least that. Like, that was what I would think. But no, apparently I was wrong. By the way, did you know that Hassan Piker cried yesterday? I'm not kidding. Like, he cried on a live stream. Hassan Piker. Didn't he laugh when Jordan Peterson was crying, or when Kavanaugh was crying, or when Kyle Rittenhouse was crying? Like, I need to check. I need to use the Wayback Machine and see if he was laughing, because that would be interesting. But Hassan Piker, I think he got a community guideline strike from Twitch because he said America deserved the Twin Towers things, right? So, like, I find it surprising that all of a sudden Hassan Piker is moved that he has empathy. Like, I thought he doesn't, but I was wrong. I was wrong. After yesterday's stream, I understand that the crying is 100% legit. You can't, you know... like, you can't look at it and not believe it. Like, you have to believe it, like, 100%. Like, why would Hassan lie? Why would the content creator fake tears? No, absolutely not. Like, he definitely cried. I was moved. I was impressed. I wish I could do more. Again, like, here from Romania, I can't do much. But I was deeply moved and touched by his behavior. And I do apologize because I thought he has no empathy after the 9/11 comments that he made. But now I do have to say, well, okay, no, like, he does. He cried on the podcast yesterday with Ethan Klein. Very moving and touching moment. Definitely shook me to the core. What can I say? He laughed like it was nature to him when the British public were crying that Queen Elizabeth died. Yeah, see, like, all these things can be misleading. Like, you would think that he has no empathy, but he does. He does. He does have empathy. Hold on. Let me show you. I will show you. Because a lot of people, like, they don't believe me. But, like, no, he did cry. And I want to say that I apologize and I feel sorry for not believing that he is capable of genuine emotion. Here we go. It's a 2-minute viral video. See, like when Hassan cries, 2.1 million people listen. Look what this individual said. Never seen him this emotional before. Me neither. Me neither. That's a good thing. You know, like I do believe that men shouldn't be afraid to cry. Jordan Peterson said this. Fine.
This is really fucked up.
Courage, Hassan. Courage. Gambate. Gambate, Hassan Paik. Gambate. Gambate. See? It's difficult. It is difficult. No, I can't watch this anymore. It's shaking me to the core. But I just wanted to show people that didn't believe that he can have a genuine moment. You are wrong, okay? You are bigoted for not thinking this, and you should apologize. Genuine emotion might be a bit too much. No, those are legit dude bro tears. Legit dude bro tears. What can I say? Like that's what, you know. I even put it up on the Internet Hall of Fame next to Kyle Rittenhouse, Kavanaugh, Jordan Peterson, and now Hassan Piker. No, it's not okay to make fun of. What are you? No, do not make fun of Hassan Piker. Look, come on. We all have our moments. That was his. What is the context? I believe he was talking about some Palestinian journalist from several years ago, or something like it. I would recommend, I would strongly recommend that Hassan Piker stops reading the news, because I can imagine, you know, he seems to be an emotional person. I can imagine like him opening the newspaper and like starting to cry, because like the international news, they're horrible. I'm not going to lie, like I have difficulty reading them. Every single day, you know, some tragedy happens somewhere, whether it's Myanmar, whether it's in South Africa, there's a lot of tragedies, right? Like the world is a bad place, and not everyone has the fortitude to be able to read the news. Especially, you know, Hassan Piker, after making those comments about 9/11, I guess he must have had like some reflection. He definitely meditated after laughing about the Queen passing away. You know, I definitely think he went on a spiritual journey, and he had a journey of rediscovery, and now he's a much more empathetic person and a decent human being. But due to that, you know, it takes like a special type of person to be able to read the international news. Like not everyone can do it. It's not for everybody. The international news are grotesque. Whether it's about Ukraine, whether it's about Myanmar, I mean, everywhere around the world there's problems, right? So like to be affected by that, to see them in. Jordan Peterson cried. You should not even cry at your own father's funeral as a man. Jordan Peterson said you should not even cry at your father's funeral. I don't care what Jordan Peterson said. You know, I'll tell you something else. As a man, like if you're a man, you do whatever the fuck you want. How about that? Like if you're legitimately a man, you do not care about what other people think. Like as long as you're not breaking the law, and as long as you want to do something, fucking do it. If you're not breaking the law, as a man, if you are a man, you do whatever the fuck you want. Other people should bend to your will. You don't bend to other people. A man chooses, a slave obeys. You know what I mean? Unironically. That's what it means to be a man. Right? So like if I want to cry at my father's funeral and everyone is like, no, you shouldn't. No, I fucking cry. And then I'll tell you to fuck off as well. With tears in my eyes. I'm like, like, right? It should be illegal to cry in public. Well, if you convince enough people, right? If you convince enough people to make it illegal to cry in public, then I won't cry. But I'll tell you what, if it's my father's funeral, I think that's a private affair. So I can still cry. You cannot prevent me from crying if I want to. It's my party, and I can cry if I want to. What if the law says a man cannot cry? Well, you have a constitution, though, and there is a separation between the private life and the public life. So if you have like a law which would prevent men from crying in a fascist place like Britain, for instance, because like apparently like that they passed a legislation where you can't stare. Staring is not allowed. Okay, let's say you can't cry. Still, you can still cry in your house. And then it would be interesting though. You know, like there's a lot of people that want to do stuff that's not legal, but so you have people that want to do illegal stuff that's not harmful. For example, in Iran they banned music, right? Like they banned dancing, and there's underground dance clubs. Like there's people risking going to prison just to dance. And you know, like there's a lot of places like that where they usually like ban something. In the United States, they banned alcohol, and people had speakeasies and shit. It's like if you ban something that people do not agree with the ban, and they think like no, like this is actually harmless. You're banning something that you shouldn't. Then they will do it. So like if you were to ban crying, I am curious if you won't have like a group of men that would literally just cry for the sake of crying. Do you know what a job would be cool? This, unironically, like this used to be a job. Did you know that there were women that you could hire to cry? I'm actually curious. Did you guys had this in your country? We call them bocitoare. It's literally like crying as a profession. And you may wonder, like, why would you want a woman to cry? Well, let's say a relative of yours that wasn't liked, an uncle, you can see where this is going, a brother, you know, like someone that didn't have a lot of people that enjoyed his company when he was alive. And then he passes away. And you don't want it to seem like, you know, you don't want the people around you to see that, well, no one liked him or... So you hire a crying crowd. Kind of like I don't feel like they were an actress or anything, but like these women, they would appear at funeral and they would throw themselves on the coffin. And they would cry and it's like, oh, Andrew, do not leave me, Andrew, man, you know? No, what country are you from, Marin? Apparently they had the name of Narikase. Narikase. I wonder like if they had like packages. I always wonder, like, do they have, like, the regular package, like, basic, where they just appear at the funeral? Then they have, like, the silver package, and not only do they appear, but you will see, like, tears flowing down their cheek. And then the premium package, where they throw themselves onto the coffin as it goes into the hole. And they're like, yo, Andrew, man! You know, like... It's interesting that apparently different cultures had them, right? You have to pay extra if they act overly emotional. Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, is it a premium package? Do you think you can get a subscription fee? Like, if you have 2 or 3 funerals at once, like, let's say you have, like, a numerous family. Like, 3 brothers, and they all died in a car crash. So you're, like, trying to get... Or maybe, like, you know, you have, like... family members that just like die like 1 or 2 years apart. Like at one point you think it would be like, can you give me a discount? Can you like, you know, like, come on, I'm a loyal customer. Like I'm a part of the clientele. In some Chinese funeral, I personally prefer pole dancing. Is that a thing? I know like there are people that are really happy when someone passes away because the greatest and most pleasant part happens, the inheritance. Crying for money sounds like a fun job. I don't know if it's like a job because like you wouldn't be able to do it constantly. Like how many times do people die, right? And like if you do it all the time, then people kind of know who you are. But I feel like once in a while it's like a side gig, if anything. Funeral in New Orleans are lit. They dance through the streets and drink all day. I heard about that. Like, I generally heard about it. Like, there are certain cultures that celebrate when a person passes away. I think it's better. I think it's better to get drunk and stuff. Because, then, like, when you're drunk, you talk about the person that passed away. Unironically, like, when I pass away, I want people that are behind me to be more relaxed and happy. It's like, personally, like, the least amount of hassle, the better. Like, when I die, just put me in the hole and that's it. Like, all of these traditions and rituals, and it just adds extra stress on the people that are left behind. I mean, they're already suffering a traumatic event that the person passed away. Like, just leave it like that. Why would you? Right? No, think about it seriously. Like when someone passes away, you're already traumatized, especially if it's a person that's close to you. Why do you force people to go through the motions and through the rituals and, oh, they have to go to the funeral? You're going to talk with them on the phone or on Discord anyway, so. I'd be like that crying Japanese politician. I haven't seen him, unfortunately, so I don't know what you're talking about. By the way, people keep asking me about, like, Israel and Palestine, and it's on YouTube. It's difficult to talk about it. And they're like, well, but Israel did this bad thing and Palestine did this bad thing, so, like, who do you support? And it's like, am I there? Do I live in that area? Is it affecting me? I mean, historically speaking, like, if we look at history, the way that forever wars, and this is a forever war. Like, I don't see it stopping. I don't see it. The way forever wars finish is with one side dominating the other, and then the other side has two choices. Either they integrate into the first side's culture, or history doesn't talk about them. That's what's going to happen. Like, I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying, like, according to history, if we look at previous events, this is what's going to happen. Stone cold. Yeah, but, like, cynicism is I'm Eastern European. This is the way I live. It's most people here are stone cold. It's like, what do you want me to do? It's like, yeah, it's fucked up, but, like, did I cause it? No. Can I stop it? No. Like, am I wrong though? Like, no, seriously, am I wrong? It's like, it's interesting. Like, there's so many other conflicts in Africa. We don't talk about those. When conflicts happened in Myanmar, no one talked about those. I mean, there was a recent conflict, a coup de grace. There is a subscriber of mine, which is from that region. I forgot where. I think Ghana? I may be wrong. But because I don't follow African politics as closely. Yeah, do we talk about? No, we don't. Okay, I mean, see, the thing with Russia, I understand why we talk about it, because Russia is a nuclear power. There was like Trevor Noah was, oh, well, the only reason you talk about Russia is because they're white. No, because they're a nuclear power. So it concerns me. Yeah, if Pakistan tomorrow decided to duke it out with India, I would be concerned, because I would be like, holy shit. If China were to invade Taiwan, I would be concerned. It's not about the skin color. It's more like, can it affect me? That's literally the question. Can it affect me? Yes or no? And I'll tell you something else. You know, if something affects me, do you think people in Israel or Palestine would care? Because I expect the same compassion, right? I mean, maybe they would. They would be like, oh, well, that's horrible. And then I also say the same thing about that situation. It looks bad. It's horrible. But ironically, like, what can I do? Like, if you can tell me what I can do, then sure. But, like, you are forgetting the gathering after the oh my fucking god, horrible. Military coup, not coup de grace. Isn't it the same thing? It's not the same thing. All right, I know. I get. Okay, fine. You're right. Jesus. People wouldn't like it if everyone acted like nothing happened and everything goes on as usual. Sorry, people wouldn't like it if everyone acted like nothing happened and everything goes on as usual when an important person died. Define important person. I mean, there's important people that die all the time. But usually, like when someone dies, their close friends, their family members, people who knew that, like those are the ones who care. But like when an American politician passes away, is it like a day of mourning or something? No, it's just like, okay, well, it happened. Unless it's like someone that has like some historic significance. But even then, like when RGB died, right? A lot of left-leaning people were upset. But like there was like it wasn't comparable to like when the Queen of England passed away, right? It's like different culture, I guess. It's not like in an individual society. Oh, when King Jong-il dies, then everyone in North Korea cries. Okay, but like that's a different culture. That they have like different set of values, and also it's like if you don't cry, then you may get in trouble. It actually happened. Like apparently those who weren't crying convincingly enough got in trouble with their version of secret police. Yeah, RBG. Yeah. Look, she is a historical figure, but not from my country. Give me a break. Like, I'm already aware of the people that live here. Already struggling to learn the people that live in the United States now. Okay. The only reason that I'm following the conflict is to see how people react on Twitter. But other than that, I mean, this happened, what, like 3 times up until now? I think it was 2009. There were like 2 more. But this is the 3rd time. There's nothing I can say or do that would change things. So, let's talk about what the title of the video is. So, hedge fund billionaires ask an interesting question. So, Bill Ackman asks, how the United States would respond if Mexican terrorists killed 1,200 citizens. See, like this is actually a question that I actually took seriously. I know where he's going with. I know where he's going at. But how would America respond? That's a great. I mean, aren't they doing that with the fentanyl opioid crisis? Or I guess like because it's not direct, right? Like I guess the last time it happened, they declared war on another nation. So the Iraqi war kicked off. But how would they react? I mean, I literally don't fucking know. I genuinely do not know. They would definitely like not invade Mexico. That's for sure. I don't think they would. I also don't think like they would start bombing Mexico. No. I mean, I know how Trump would react, but I have no idea how the Biden administration would handle it. The cartels kill more than that every... Yeah, but I guess, like, what he is going at, I guess, like, if they were to go into America and, like, do it indiscriminately and then film it and upload it on social media and create a scandal. I think, like, this is what Mr. Bill Ackman wants to say. You would invade Mexico? I don't think so. Like, again, like, if it was Trump, maybe. But, like, with the Biden administration? Are you kidding me? No. No. I mean, we had this in Europe, right? Like, we had terrorist attack in Europe. Like, obviously not as bad. In numbers, I mean. Like, not to the numbers that Bill Ackman is talking about. But what did they do? Well, I'll tell you what they did. Even if it was like with hundreds of people that passed away, literally the next day, before the bodies would get cold, you would have like politicians and journalists saying that the real victims are the innocent Muslims that are going to get backlash for this tragedy. And I'm like, shouldn't you like talk about the victims' families and give condolences first? Like, wouldn't. But that's what happened in the European Union. It was like one attack per day, actually. No, seriously, like it got to the point. I think it was like 2018 or so. It got to the point where like every single day there was like another one in the European Union, to the point where you would be like, so have you heard about that terrorist attack? And people would be like, which one? Seriously, usually not all of them were like grandiose in scale, but still, like a guy with an axe, for example, went on a train and started hacking at people. Not as bad as the ones on Nice with the cars and shit, but like that's what happened in Europe. You know, like when you ask like how would people react, I generally don't know. Like I literally like cannot tell you. I honestly, and I claim myself to be a political analyst, but like based on previous events. Yeah, I have no fucking clue. I had no idea. Had Romania have any attacks? No. Zero. Like Poland. For some reason. I don't know why. I think Hungary also had zero. Eastern Europe didn't have many. Yeah, like Romania actually, no, that now that I'm thinking about. Romania hasn't had a single terrorist attack for as long as... Oh, no, actually, no, wait. We did. It was during the revolution, like the communist revolution. That there were people that fired into the crowd, and we called that a terrorist activity. Okay, yeah, but like either than that, no, we don't. The only time that we had something is recently. There was a person that was high on drugs, which drove a car into a crowd of people. But it wasn't like politically motivated. No, that person was under the influence. So no, we don't. No. Trump wanted to get Mexico to authorize US drone strikes. Well, imagine if they would have given that authorization and then Trump is no longer president. Romania has a long history with dealing with the Ottomans the correct way. I already like explained that we do have a Christian mosque. Christian mosque as in built by Christian hands in Constanța. And the Romanian Muslim community has to select a mufti that is vetted by the the Minister of Culture and Religious Affairs in Romania. And the mufti we vetted is a very decent chap. He even gave a list with a couple of imams that were coming from Saudi Arabia and Qatar, and he said, do not allow these people into the country because they preach a very radical and extremist version of Islam that we disagree with, and we believe that it would cause strife between us and our Romanian brothers. And the government went okay, and those people weren't allowed to come into the country, and there you go. I mean, that's... And then Turkey wanted to build like a grand mosque into Romania and a cultural center, they called it. And again, the mufti went like, no, this is way too big for our needs. We have the mosque at Constanța. This is very bizarre. There aren't enough Muslims in Romania in order to fill that cultural center. Like, what are you doing? It's also interesting because the way we handled with the mosque, it again, like Turkey, the Ottoman Empire was, oh well, we want to build mosque in Romania. So the Orthodox Church asked Turkey, it's like, okay, well, if you build a mosque here, we want to build a cathedral in Turkey. We want to build a cathedral in Ankara. We want to build a grand cathedral to purify the souls of Christians and the Sultan was like, no, you do not get cathedral in Ankara, you get a little chapel. And apparently this upset the Romanian patriarch. He was like, little chapel? No, we want grand cathedral, big, built by the labored hands of the Christian brothers in order to satisfy the hungry souls for Christ within the Ottoman Empire. And Erdogan didn't want to, so we're like, oh, you do not want our grand cathedral? Then we do not want your mosque. You go and pray to Constanza. We have mosque over there. If you do not want grand cathedral, we do not want mosque. That was the conversation that took place between Patriarchal Daniel, and I don't know. I don't know if it was Erdogan. I think it was who's the mufti in Turkey? Like, who did he? Still, yeah, the cathedral of no. It was like another one. Like they wanted to build a second cathedral in Turkey. Turkey didn't agree. It's like, oh well. You just want me to scratch your back? You're not going to scratch mine? Well, then there's no scratching involved. Yeah, a big feral cathedral. We don't fuck around. Like, if we're going to go all the way to Turkey to build cathedral, might as well be grandiose. I mean, we're not going to just build little chapel. Why would we build a little chapel? No. Little chapel, the people of Turkey can build little chapel. If we go over there, we create masterwork, masonry, to last the centuries. Did you show the chat the ongoing wonder we build in Bucharest? Oh my fucking god. Yeah, no, I see the figures. I really tried to defend this thing. Cause the figure, right? So this is very expensive to make. That's the main issue, right? And I'm not against like building something that will last the ages. Because at the end of the day, you know, like, it's fine. Like maybe this shit is going to last 300 years or more. Who knows? You know, like, maybe people will come from all over the world to see it. But it's fucking ugly. Like, I know that there are cathedrals that are beautiful, but look at this. And it's got, like, gold-plated rooftops and shit. And, like, no, I get it, but, like, dude, it doesn't... What is this? Huh? Is it an airplane carrier? Like, are you going to fire MiGs out of it? It's just like... I don't know who the architect is. No, unironically, like, I'm not against the price. I'm not... But, like, if you're going to spend this much amount of cash and wealth in order to build something, at least make something beautiful. I mean, look at France. France has a lot of examples. Why do we have this? It's just like... Am I the only one who thinks it's not okay? I mean, you're saying it's not that buff. Well, yeah, but like for the amount of cash involved, it should be amazing. And take into account Romania is not the wealthiest country on earth, right? So like if you're going to spend money to build something, at least build it properly. It's not just a building, it's supposed to be a complex of buildings. I don't fucking care, make it look good. There are complexes of buildings out there that actually look great. You know, like, sure, you can attract tourism with it or something. Look at this shit, chat. Look at it. Look. 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 What is this? Huh? Yeah, it's a complex of buildings. You got a building here, a building here, a building. Okay, no, great. I'm not against it. Like, go build it. But, like, look, it's just... I mean, I guess, you know, whatever. Whatever. But I don't understand people now who are complaining, you know, because it just gives ammunition to the atheists. Like, there's a lot of anti-religious sentiment that tries to get into Romania. Some of it manages to get through, other doesn't. The idea is like, oh, the church has too much cash. It has too much wealth. We need hospitals and schools. We don't need cathedrals. It's the dumbest argument ever. Like, first of all, a lot of the hospitals and schools are being funded by the church. A lot of historical monuments that Romania has are within the care of the church. You know, you can't ask, like, leftists to be this level of educated, you know? And finally, to have a chapel is very cheap. Like, you just put some wood... Right, and you put a couple of iconography, and there you go. Now you have a priest Congratulations, it's done deal. With a hospital, well, with a hospital, you need authorizations from the European Union. You need all sorts of licenses, and then you need the equipment. Most of the machinery is at least $1 million if you want an MRI and shit. It's pretty expensive. I mean, the price difference, like, it's not just like, oh, well, you have a hospital. Okay, but it's not like a tent with a doctor. It doesn't work like that. A church can literally be a tent with a priest. Like, that's fine. The church feeds the needy, not the government. Debatable. I mean, they both feed. But corruption is always a big issue for sure, but having pretty spaces, if important, I think. Well, it's kind of like, what do you leave behind for the next generation, right? Like, have we did anything so that the next generation can have something to admire? This is why when the Notre Dame Cathedral was burning, I was really upset. And I actually said, it's like, if I can donate some money, I would. Because many people didn't understand. It's like, oh, well, it's just a building. It's just a building, bro. And it's like, well, no, it's not just a building. It's a work of art, first and foremost. And, if you don't value what you have today, if you don't value what we have from our ancestors, then what's the point in expecting that the people the new generation would value us? I mean, unironically, like, seeing a building that managed to withstand the test of time is really a monumental feat of human engineering and achievement. Another interesting conversation was like, oh, why do you care about Notre Dame, but you don't care about it was like some indigenous landmarks in Canada? And I'm like, well, I never heard about them. Like, let me look. And it was like literally some holes in the ground and stuff. And I was like, look, I'm not saying those aren't important. I mean, sure, I'm fairly convinced that for the people in Canada, they have some significance, but you can't compare a monumental Gothic achievement that withstood World War I and World War II, a feat of human engineering that many nations at the time weren't able to accomplish, with a couple of holes in the ground. Like, I mean, what do you want me to say? Leave the holes alone. I mean, no, unironically, like, leave them alone. It belongs to us. But, like, you're not going to get people from all around the world to go and see those holes. You are going to get people going to France just to see the Notre Dame Cathedral. Look at the bright side. At least it's not one BlackRock corpo office. Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if they're... Because I heard they wanted at some point to make it promote environmentalism. There was talks, but they didn't do it. They wanted to put a minaret on top of the cathedral, and I was like, well, at least I guess like some religion can make use of it, because the number of Christians in Western Europe is dropping dramatically. So, to be honest though, like, if they were to put a minaret on top of the cathedral of Notre Dame, at least you would be guaranteed for sure that there wouldn't be any environmentalist bullshit inside. Like, at least it would guarantee that the thing wouldn't become woke, right? Like, why do you care what future generations think? Is it enough? No. I do care what future generations think. Like, if you don't care, why would you even spend any time on educating people? You're gonna talk about Microsoft swallowing Activision Blizzard? Didn't that already happen? Like, what is there to talk about? I don't care. Nothing will change. Blizzard is not the company it used to be. Blizzard cannot produce the games it used to. There is nothing that Blizzard can do that will be impressive. Now swallowed by Microsoft. Okay, well, what will change? It's Microsoft, same shit. I don't think that anything will change, either for better or for worse. Blizzard is going to remain shit. Eventually, it will go bankrupt. Or at least I would like to say that. I don't know. Like, I can't tell like how many people spend money on microtransactions. But looking at the failure that was Diablo 4, like what was the last successful game that Blizzard ever made? StarCraft 2. can we count Diablo 3 as being successful? I think Diablo 3 was also successful. Well, actually, Diablo Immortal was good. I'm not saying that I liked it. I'm not saying that it was a good game. I'm saying it actually sold. It made the profit. So yeah, Diablo Immortals. It made a profit. It sold. Hearthstone was... Hearthstone actually, yeah. They make profitable games. But they don't make games that are going to withstand the test of time. Overwatch 1. Overwatch 1 was good. Yeah. Overwatch 2 was a flop. But Overwatch 1, yes, that's a good point. Wow, they made a game with beautiful female characters. Like literally, that was the driving factor of Overwatch. Like so many people just played Overwatch because they watched the porn. And there were people who stopped playing Overwatch. Like I know individuals, they stopped playing Overwatch. They uninstalled the video game from their account. And then they saw like some really nice porn of Mercy and they went like, okay, well I'm going to play Overwatch again. Imagine like taking a thing which was your selling point and just going like, nah, we're not going to have it anymore. Games as a service make bank. Yeah, it does. Gross. My daughter played that. Well, what the fuck does one have to do with another? I genuinely don't understand. Like, Overwatch is not a porn game. However, there is porn of Overwatch. Like, this is something that baffles my mind. I'm trying to find an example. Dragon Ball, right? So when I grew up with Dragon Ball, and when I grew up and Dragon Ball was on TV, I haven't hit puberty yet. So I was watching Dragon Ball with innocent eyes, if you will, right? And then I go through puberty, and it took like a long while until the internet that I had access to had pictures of Bulma. But now I think I was like 16, 17, and I get to see Bulma boobies. And I rewatched Dragon Ball again, but like, it's the same show, but I was able to watch it with different mindsets. I didn't even get like, they used to have a character, which for some reason they removed, Lunch. She was this blue-haired chica, which when sneezing, she would turn into a blonde-haired chica that was aggressive. Yeah, I didn't even get the Master Roshi jokes when I was a kid. Like when I was a kid, I thought that Master Roshi is just like incredibly obnoxious. But I didn't get like what I thought like, oh, he wants to be affectionate with the ladies, and it was like an innocent type of thing. Because again, like I didn't hit puberty, I didn't understand any of these. I didn't understand like why his nose was blowing with blood and stuff. But like then you grow up and you understand. I mean, it's. Why is this a moral panic? Unless they were fucking on television, then I would understand. But Dragon Ball doesn't have any of these things. In fact, I would say that American TV shows had more sex. Like Xena, Hercules, Andromeda. Like almost every single American TV show at one point had sex in it. Twin Peaks. Was watching it at the time. But, again, it wasn't over the top. I mean, they were doing it under the blanket and stuff. And as a kid, I didn't understand what that was. Yeah, Toriyama forgot about lunch the same way Dumb and Dumber forgot about their Game of Thrones storyline. Didn't get why Squidward existed in SpongeBob. Oh, I see. My God, you're not that old if you watch SpongeBob. The days before diversity and uglification. Yeah, but back then you weren't allowed to show violence, right? So like you had sex almost everywhere. Every single American TV show. There were Hollywood movies that had actresses showing tits on the big screen. Like I remember that when I was a kid. Many movies like had just flat out booba on the screen. And I remember, like, I think I was 14 or 15 we would talk like you would go and you would buy like a VCR cassette, right? And you would rent it for a day. Like there were these stores where you got VCRs, and you'd put them and you'd play them. And all the guys that all the kids at the block, they would be like, okay, you buy this movie and you go to like 25 minutes and 30 seconds and you get to see this actress naked. And then you'd put pause, and that was like what we had. But my point is like, no, like sex was just everywhere, especially in American media. I mean, it was over the top. Violence, however, oh my god, was almost non-existent. They freaked out from the scene of Dragon Ball by having that episode in Namek where Frieza impales Krillin with a horn and then starts bouncing him. Like, oh my god, that really freaked out people. And I, like the thing is, like, I kind of understand it more because the idea was like we can't show violence to kids because then they will try to replicate it. So like if you have like a show where like someone with a crowbar goes around and hits people, they were concerned that a kid that watches that would try to replicate it in real life. So they were like they actually had an argument. I don't know like what the argument is now. Oh my god, My Hero Academia has all these characters that have like cleavage and shit. Uzaki-chan, oh my gosh, she's got booba. Oh, horrible. They don't have an argument. Oh, but they're underage. It's like they're a cartoon. Who fucking cares? Okay, fine. Like make them make. And if they're underage, so fucking well. Like I grew up with worse. X-Men, for instance, right? Like it had Kitty. I think Kitty was underage in X-Men school. Like Rogue. Rogue had the Skippy. Teen Titans fucking go. My god, there is another comic book which for some reason the purists don't talk about. Shazam has like a 14-year-old kid or 13-year-old kid. He goes, Shazam! And he becomes like this muscular, hyper-sexualized guy, which gets hit on by Wonder Woman. So like, shut the fuck up. I generally like do not think that their concerns are legit. I literally do not think for a second that they genuinely care about protecting children. I try to drop anvils on people all the time, though. Unironically, though, there was a kid that was in the neighborhood with me, and he dropped a watermelon on top of a woman's head. And the cops came, and like I don't know what happened because he got taken away. But he was, I think, at 3rd floor or 4th floor. He like I know because like one day he stopped coming out to play and I was like, well, why isn't he playing? It's like, oh well, I think they took him to the correction school is what we called it. He just like had the watermelon and he waited for people to go and then, like when a woman came, like he dropped the watermelon, hit her right in the head. The woman passed out. I don't know what happened to her, like if she went to the hospital or something, but I think it was pretty bad if you actually go to the correction school. So, did he replicate what he saw in cartoons? I don't fucking know. No, it wasn't an Acme watermelon, but like getting hit with one of them, like unironically, like if a watermelon comes from like the 3rd floor and it hits you right in the head, I mean, I don't think like that's. I do assume she got hurt. I mean, I wasn't there, so I don't fucking know. But my point was like there were kids that actually did try to replicate stuff. Yeah, it is bad. Imagine your kid doing it, and then you wake up with the cops at the door, and you're like, you're not even home, like, because you're at work. But you're to blame because you failed at educating your kid. I'm sorry, Carrie. I'm literally about to end the stream. I was raised in the 90s. I was in karate and swimming. Children in sports is how you properly pattern those instincts. Yeah, I mean, most kids, especially boys, they have a lot of energy and they need a way to unplug. Like, channel that energy. Sports is a good thing, yeah. No, it wasn't fatherless behavior. He didn't have a father. I don't know what he was thinking, honestly. I think, like, he didn't understand the consequences. I don't even know, like, the age. Like, we're talking maybe, like, 13, 12. Maybe he just wanted, like, a joke. So, like, If he's the woman and she looks up, I have no fucking idea. It's kind of weird. So like after 1 hour, there's another group of people that are coming in saying that they weren't notified. So I guess if I was to stream for like 2 hours, I would be able to get more views. But I'm sorry, I can't. I'm just way too tired, chat. I know this is like a cop-out, but 5 videos a day, and on top of that, I need to write for my video game. I don't know, like, if I will be able to make a sequel for this video game. Writing is fun, but, like, when you have to write a video game worth of dialogue, do you know how annoying it is? Because you gotta, like, when you write the dialogue, not only do you have to remember what you wrote previously, but, like, you have dialogue trees and branches, and you're like, okay, well, if they said this back then it affects this here, and it's so convoluted. And you need to make sure that the characters have different voices, because if they have the same voice, then it's not good. Anyway, right. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. And I thank you a lot for the super chats. And I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.